Welcome to Kanuka Home Practice. Today we'll be doing a short flow focused on bringing awareness to the hands and feet. We'll be exploring different placements with the fingers, the palms, as well as the toes and ankles. We'll begin in a comfortable seat. If you'd like to do the first part of this class standing, you're also more than welcome to do that. So I invite you now to place the palms facing up by the hips or on top of the knees, and closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. We'll take a moment to arrive for our practice right here, right now. Allowing the body to settle, feeling connected to the ground below, either through the sit bones or maybe your feet if you're standing. Feeling maybe a slight extension through the crown of the head as it reaches for the space above the body. And then beginning to become aware of the breath. How is it flowing in and out? Becoming familiar, observing the breath here. Then we'll begin to lengthen the inhales and slow down the exhale. Finding a slow and steady breath. Now with the next inhale, we'll match a little bit of movement with the breath. On the next inhale, extending the fingers, spreading them out, reaching them out. And on the exhale, allowing the fingers to soften as they gently curl into the palms. Inhale, spreading the fingers, reaching them out. Exhale, allow the hands to soften and curl inwards. And continuing like this, matching these subtle hand movements with your breath. This gives us a little bit more feedback on how the breath is flowing as we start to connect movement with breath. Also a subtle hand stretch. Okay, taking one more round, inhaling that hands opened. And exhale, you can release. And fluttering the eyes open, we'll reach the arms up. Top of the inhale, palms meet. As you exhale, press the hands evenly down the center line towards the chest until you find Anjali Mudra or prayer. And repeat. Inhale, arms up, palms facing towards the ceiling. As they meet at the top, pressing evenly down the center line until you find prayer. One more time, matching this breath with your movement. And pause here for a moment. Staying in prayer. We'll twist over to the right, keeping the chin aligned with the top of the fingers. as we focus on beginning to twist just the thoracic spine. And return to center. Allow the body to resettle here. On the next inhale, just reach up through the crown of the head. Exhale over and twist. Keeping the chin above the fingers and the hands in front of the sternum. Breathing here, return to center. Allow the body to reset. Inhale, exhale, twist. Finding your range here, and then you can extend the arms, taking the left hand against the knee to support the twist, and the gaze can come behind as we further extend the twist. And gently unwind from that, bringing the hands back to prayer. Pressing the palms evenly together. And inhale for length, exhale, find your twist. And you can further extend the arms down, behind and by the knee, and continue looking over the left shoulder. Finding your slow, steady breath here, and then gently returning back to center. Hands can come back in front of the chest. We'll bring the fingers to the tops of the shoulders and make wide circles with the elbows. Begin to loosen up the shoulders. And you might take the elbows in the opposite direction. And allow the hands to rest. Sitting with any sensations, just noticing maybe how the arms feel after a little bit of movement here. We'll transition onto hands and knees for our tabletop. Hands underneath the shoulders, so shoulder width apart, knees maybe hip width apart, and of course under the hips. And bringing intention into the awareness of our hands and feet and the placement of them. Decide how you'd like to lay the toes behind you. Would you like the tops of the feet to rest on the floor? Or maybe you like to tuck the toes. So making a conscious decision there. Fingers are going to be spread out wide for this round of cat-cow. If you know where you're going, feel free to go at your own pace or follow me. On the next inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, and allow the chest to shine forward, shoulders draw away from the ears. Exhale, press through those hands and lift the back body away from the mat, tailbone and chin tuck in. And inhale, drop the belly, widen the collarbones, pressing through the thumb and the first finger as the gaze comes forward. Exhale, dome through the back here, allowing the breath to expand the back ribs and the back body. And continue like this at your own pace, taking pauses where you need to, and allowing that breath to really expand the spaces within the spine. Feel free to bring any free movement that's calling to you, any sways, rolls, side bends. And we'll meet back into a neutral tabletop. So bringing awareness back to these hands, spreading the fingers out wide, pressing the palms and the fingers into the mat. Now we're going to shift this grip slightly into a camber hold. So where the hands are, we're going to start to squish the fingers in so that the knuckles slightly rise above. So now that there's a bit of space underneath the fingers, we're gripping the mat with the finger pads, the tips of the fingers, as the base of the palm also presses into the mat. So it's as if we're squishing the mat in. You see a light squeeze here with the fingers. Instead of spreading them out flat, we're just going to squish them in. This is our camber grip. This grip here can be quite handy for stability. It can protect the wrist a bit more, and it also offers a little bit more balance as well, because we're now really bringing awareness into each of the fingertips, allowing us to sort of rebalance where we need to in the hands here. So I invite you to use this camber grip throughout today's practice. Just see how that feels, and it also helps bring a little bit more strength into the hands. Okay, we're going to take our hands a little bit in front here, maybe a hand width apart, and shift into this supported plank. And again, you might like to explore this camber grip. Coming back to the breath here, stabilizing the core. Taking a deep breath into the belly so the belly expands. And keeping the belly pushed out, continue breathing. So we've started to really stabilize the core here, bringing strength there, making it more solid while still coming back to the breath. And we're going to find a little dip here, elbows close to ribs, and press back into your child's pose. Knees might be more tucked underneath the body than usual. And coming forward, little dip in your supported plank, and press away into the child's pose. And continue swaying forward and back like this as we warm up the arms, and you continue to find movement being led by your breath. One more round. Meeting in child's pose, taking the knees out wider than the hips and drawing the chest down, hips come towards the heels. Fingers are reaching out to the front of the mat. And we're going to again bring awareness to the hands. Gonna press through the fingertips and lift the palms up so that the forearms reach. This is more like a little spider grip now. This is going to help us stretch the shoulders a bit further. And again, we're starting to bring more strength into the fingers, the palms, all parts of the hands. And you can lay that flat, tuck the toes underneath, and come into the first down dog. Lifting up the tailbone. Maybe you have your camber grip. Coming up onto the toes and lowering the heels. And doing that a few times as we stretch out the toes, warm up the ankles, drawing the chest through the arms here. Ears are along the biceps. And begin to walk forward, finding your first forward fold. Modifying this to suit your range of flexibility. So you might like a little bend in the knees, allowing the belly to rest on the thighs here. And then you might like to have the arms dangle or in ragdoll, aiming to allow the crown of the head to fall forward. So finding your unique forward fold. We'll ground down through the feet as if we're spreading our toes down and wide, And begin to roll up, stacking that vertebrae. Fingers can stretch out to the sides and above, meeting at the top and drawing down towards the chest. Taking a breath here as we reset. And we're going to start our little flow. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, we're going to find chair, so hands can swing back and forward as we sit the hips down and bend the knees. Drawing the weight into our heels, you can lift those toes up as we squeeze the thighs to create a bit more activity here. Now we're going to roll onto the toes. Can you come into chair pose by lifting the heels up and bringing weight into the ball of the feet, stretching those ankles. And forward fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins, flattening that back, drawing the chest forward and shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, step back into high plank. Bring intention back into those hands. Are they a cambered grip or are they going to be spread out and flat? Pressing into the thumb and the first finger. And taking your variation of vinyasa. You might like to lower the knees, untuck the toes, elbows close to ribs as we lower the body down and lift up for baby cobra, cobra, or up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back into down dog. Take a look at your toes here, bringing awareness back into the feet. And with control, lift the right toes up and kick back slowly for three-legged dog. I'm going to play with a few different foot placements here. So point the right toes and then flex the right foot, drawing the toes back in towards the body, pushing out through the heel. And then there's a third option called floint. We point the toes or point the foot, but draw the toes back. Similar positioning to when we were in chair on our toes. So point the toes, flex the foot. Go back to pointing the foot, but draw the toes back for your floint. And then step forward, bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. And we're going to draw the left foot forward, finding Malasana or Yogi Squat at the top of the mat. Hands can come to prayer here. Pressing into the feet, elbows helping open up the knees. The chest or sternum lifts forward, crown of the head lifting up. And hands down to the mat, toe, heel the feet back towards underneath the hips, finding forward fold again. Rise up to standing, arms up overhead, palms meet, find Collie Mudra. So hands clasped together, pointer fingers shoot up into the air, and the thumbs can cross or lay right next to each other. Collie Mudra. Allowing full extension of the body. And you can convert Collie Mudra into prayer as you draw the palms down in front of the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale for chair. Coming up onto the toes. holding it here. Finding stability and steadiness on the toes. And exhale, forward fold. Bring the hands down to the mat, step back for your high plank. Bring attention into those hands, feeling how solid the earth is underneath them, and find your version of vinyasa. Coming down, and then finding your back extension of your choice, and rocking back into down dog. Coming back to the breath here, feeling solid connection with the hands against the mat. And take a look at the toes, looking at the left foot now. Begin to lightly lift up the foot, gently draw it back behind for three-legged dog. Pointing the left foot, toes, allow for a further extension of the body. And then flex the foot, press the heel away, toes are pointing down. And floint. Pointing the foot, but drawing the toes back up. And again, point the foot, flex the foot, and floint it. And then we're gonna draw the left foot to the outside of the right hand. Bring the right foot back up for your malasana or yogi squat. Hands can come to prayer here. So your yogi squat might look different than mine. You might be a bit higher up if you're not comfortable drawing the hips all the way down to the heels. So modify it, make it yours. And here in malasana, you might like to take a little side bend, drawing the left hand down, right arm up and over. And right hand down, left arm over. And meeting back in center. You can sit back on the bum here. Take the feet out in front. We're now sitting on the mat. So just going to come back to recline as we wind down class. Knees into the chest here. Good opportunity to roll the ankles out, stretch the toes, point the feet. And bringing the soles of the feet back down onto the mat. Bringing the right ankle over the left thigh for your number 4 stretch. You can stay here with the foot on the mat. You might like to press the knee away, or you can draw the thigh up and take a hold of it. So different options here for number 4 stretch, and today might feel a bit different than another day. So just honoring where your body is and taking the version that will work for you right now. Take the feet out wide. Soles of the feet may be mat width apart, and you can draw the knees left and right. Maybe pausing on one side, pressing the knees down into the ground so you can have a nice stretch in that hip flexor. Or maybe you just bounce them back and forth. Place the right sole of the foot down, lift the left ankle up and over, finding your number 4 stretch, taking whatever version you'd like. Pressing the knee away or drawing the thigh towards you, threading your arms around. And this side might be different than the other side. And releasing. You can take any other last movements you'd like before we close our practice. Maybe it's a happy baby, maybe it's a constructive rest, or maybe it's waterfall. Perhaps you add some twists. So doing whatever you'd like to do that makes your practice feel more complete. And you can move into your Shavasana at home, taking the body out long, laying it down onto the mat, and closing down the eyes for as long as you need. Or sitting up and sealing your practice with me right now. Coming back to the breath, taking the hands in Chin Mudra, bringing the thumb and the first finger to lightly meet as the rest of the fingers open up, palms facing upwards. Coming back into focus here. Allowing the breath to anchor the body back down to the mat. Feeling a little bit of gratitude here for taking the time to explore your practice. Maybe a new appreciation for how the hands and feet carry us throughout the day. Let's end practice with one deep breath together. So exhaling where you are. Inhaling deeply through the nose and out through the mouth. Namaste. Thank you for joining us for your home practice. Let me know if you have any questions and look forward to seeing you again soon.